You wake to a dawn shrouded in cold stone and silence, the chill biting deep through the thin fabric wrapped around your shoulders. The room is small and windowless, lit only by the flicker of a dying oil lamp that casts dancing shadows on rough walls. The scent of sweat, fear, and olive oil clings to the air, a heavy blanket suffocating what little hope remains. Your body aches. Bruises bloom purple and yellow like bruised grapes on your ribs, and the iron shackle at your ankle rubs raw against skin, too tender for such cruelty. Outside, laughter rings out in the marble halls of the city's great houses, but to you, it sounds like distant thunder, a storm you dare not face. You are 15. Your name no longer matters here. You are property, a prize bought and sold in the marketplace of human suffering. The door scrapes open. Heavy footsteps echo down the stone corridor. The overseer arrives. His face is carved from years of breaking spirits, a map of scars and cold indifference. His eyes scan you with the calculating precision of a man who sees nothing but tools. "Clean yourself," he snarls, tossing a damp cloth at your feet. "The master has guests tonight." You know what that means. You know what they expect. You have known since the night they dragged you screaming from your village, when your father's pleas fell on deaf ears and your mother's tears stained the dirt. Your childhood, once full of laughter and light, shattered like brittle pottery. You are a commodity. The story begins long before the chains and the city. Imagine a small village nestled between olive groves, where life is simple and harsh. Families live on the knife's edge of survival. Children run barefoot through dusty streets, their laughter mingling with the bleating of goats and the distant pounding of grinding stones. But drought came. A merciless sun scorched the earth, the olive trees gave up their fruit, and the wells ran dry. Hunger gnawed like a beast at every home. One by one, families sold their livestock, their heirlooms, until only one thing remained: children. You were 12 then, unaware of the storm gathering on the horizon. You played beneath the ancient olive trees, chasing shadows, dreaming of a life that seemed untouched by the world's cruelty. Then came the merchants. Like vultures sensing carrion, they swept into the village center. Chains coiled at their sides, their ledgers heavy with names and prices. They promised salvation, silver for food, enough to survive another winter. You watched as your father's hands trembled, as your mother's face crumpled into silent grief. Temporary, they said. You'll return richer, stronger. You'll learn skills, serve in a noble house. But those promises were sweet poison, falling from lips stained with lies. The journey to the city was a nightmare, etched into memory. Chains biting into flesh, the crushing weight of despair pressing down with every step. The caravan moved through sunlit hills and sparkling seas, but you saw only iron links and cold eyes. At night you were tethered to stakes hammered into the earth. You lay on your side, the ground hard and unforgiving beneath you. Around you, the muffled sobs of others echoed, a chorus of broken souls. Days passed, and the market approached, a brutal stage where your fate would be sealed. Naked bodies displayed like cattle, prodded and poked by hands that saw no humanity, only value. Teeth examined, muscles squeezed, youth appraised like livestock. Your heart hammered against ribs hollowed by fear. The auctioneer's voice boomed, listing your attributes: age, health, temperament, code words that chilled your blood. Compliant, pleasing appearance, suitable for household service. You stood trembling, wishing to disappear into the shadows. When the hammer fell, you became someone else's possession. Lysander, a man with soft hands and cruel eyes, claimed you. His house was vast and marble-lined, a world away from your village, but luxury was a cage gilded with chains. Your days became a ritual of obedience. Bath when told. Eat when told. Speak only when spoken to. Never meet a free man's gaze. Your body was no longer yours. It was an object of service and pleasure. The symposium awaited, a world of philosophers and poets, where minds soared but darkness thrived beneath the wine-soaked conversations. Here, intellect and cruelty danced hand in hand. You were polished and oiled, made to gleam like a precious statue. Jewelry adorned you, not as a gift, but as a mark of ornamental servitude. The guests reclined on couches, their voices weaving between lofty ideas and sordid demands. The first time you were taken to a guest's couch, you did not understand what was happening. A man, old enough to be your grandfather, invited you with smiles and questions. "Tell me of your homeland," he said. "Do you miss your family?" His hand slid from your shoulder to your back, then lower. Your protests were ignored, replaced by laughter and whispered bets among the guests. You were no longer a boy. You were a vessel for their amusement. The symposium's light dimmed into shadows. The laughter turned cruel, the abuse relentless. This is only the beginning. You will learn the hierarchy of suffering, how broken spirits become obedient tools, how hope becomes a weapon turned against you. You will discover the difference between those chosen for the fields, those for the house, and those for the bed. And you will face the cruelest truth of all. There is no escape. The first morning in Lysander's house arrives like a cold wave crashing against stone walls. You wake to the smell of polished marble and burning olive oil, scents so foreign they make your stomach churn. The sunlight spills through high windows, painting the mosaic floors with fractured light. Servants move silently through vast halls, their footsteps soft but purposeful. You are led through corridors that seem to stretch endlessly, filled with carved statues of gods and heroes, reminders of a world that forgets you. Your new quarters lie in the basement, a small stone cell with a straw mattress, a thin blanket, and a chamber pot. The walls are thick, designed to muffle the sounds of others who share your fate. There is no window to the outside world, only the faint echo of voices, laughter, and sometimes cries. Your overseer Demetrius, a man as ruthless as the iron in your shackles, appears without warning. He was once a slave himself, bought young and broken, rising through cruelty and cunning to wield power over you. His eyes glint with cold amusement as he delivers the rules. You eat when told. You speak only when spoken to. You obey or you suffer. There is no kindness here, only survival. Days blend into nights, a never-ending cycle of fear and servitude. You are bathed and oiled each morning, your skin made to gleam like a prized statue. You learn quickly that appearance is everything. The guests demand perfection, and you must become both a servant and a spectacle. The household is a world of shadows and whispers. You meet other boys and young men, their faces etched with stories of loss and shattered dreams. Marcus, barely older than you, shows you the ropes. How to smile when the masters watch, how to keep your head bowed when the guests arrive. Alexios, scarred and silent, warns you of the symposiums, the nights when philosophy and brutality intertwine. The symposium is a world apart. The great hall is filled with men reclining on couches, draped in fine linens, their voices rich with intellect and wine. They speak of virtue, justice, and the gods, but beneath the lofty words lies a hunger far darker. You, the slave, are brought forth as both servant and prize. You pour wine, serve food, and entertain. At first, the tasks seem innocent enough, but the atmosphere shifts with the fading light. Bawdy jokes replace philosophical debate. Hands linger longer on your skin. Eyes gleam with predatory hunger. You learn to read the subtle signs. Who to avoid, who to please, who to fear. Your first night at the symposium is a nightmare etched into memory. A man, old and corpulent, beckons you to his couch. His smile is oily, his intentions clear. You sit, trembling, as his hand slides from your shoulder to places you cannot escape. Your protests are swallowed by laughter and indifferent glances. You are nothing but an object, a toy for their amusement. Afterwards, you retreat to your cell, body aching, spirit bruised beyond words. The other boys offer hollow sympathy, their eyes reflecting your own despair. This is the cruel ballet of the symposium, where cultured minds forget humanity in the haze of wine and power. Yet even within this nightmare, there are whispered alliances and fragile hopes. Some slaves gain small privileges through obedience, better food, warmer blankets, rare tokens of favor. But these are fragile threads, easily snapped by a change in mood or a jealous overseer. Demetrius watches closely, rewarding compliance and punishing defiance with brutal efficiency. He knows broken slaves obey best. You realize the house is a hierarchy of pain. Newcomers suffer the worst. The favored endure less cruelty, but never safety. And the least fortunate are cast to the fields, where labor breaks body and spirit alike. Outside the house, Athens pulses with life, the marketplace, the theaters, the stoas, where citizens debate democracy's promise. Yet beneath the veneer of culture and progress, you live a shadow existence, your voice silenced, your body claimed. The city's brilliance blinds those who do not look closely enough. But you see the cracks, the hidden sorrows beneath marble facades, the cost of power paid in flesh and blood. The days stretch on like a relentless tide, each one washing over you with the same cruel sameness. The cold stone walls of your cell become both prison and refuge. You learn to measure time by the sound of footsteps, the shifting patterns of voices outside your door. Life here is a constant exercise in control over your body, your spirit, your very breath. You discover quickly that survival is a game played with masks. You cannot afford to show fear or weakness, but neither can you reveal the rage burning beneath your ribs. The slightest misstep could bring lashes from Demetrius or a harsher fate from the master's capricious guests. In whispered conversations, the other boys share stories of rebellion and punishment, attempts to escape, protests silenced by chains and cruelty. You learn that resistance is costly, often fatal. Yet beneath the weight of despair, a fragile ember of defiance flickers. You catch glimpses of courage in the eyes of others, the quiet strength that refuses to be extinguished. Demetrius is both tormentor and guardian. His cruelty is matched only by his cunning. He understands the delicate balance of power, how to break spirits just enough to ensure obedience without destroying the asset. He uses fear, humiliation, and occasional kindness as tools in his arsenal. "You're nothing without me," he reminds you one night as the shadows lengthen. Remember that. His words sting, but beneath them lies a truth carved into your very existence. You learn to navigate the household's complex hierarchy. There are favored slaves who enjoy small privileges, courted by Demetrius and the master's guests alike. Their smiles hide secrets. Their eyes betray silent bargains made in desperation. You watch as alliances form and shatter like glass. Trust is a currency no one can afford. The symposium remains the darkest stage of this tragic play. Night after night, you are polished and paraded before men whose voices drip with intellect and cruelty. They speak of honor and justice even as they violate the very souls they claim to uplift. Some guests take pleasure in torment, testing the limits of endurance and submission. Others seek fleeting moments of tenderness, rare glimpses of humanity, in a world that denies it. You cling to these rare moments, drawing strength from the briefest acts of kindness. A shared glance, a whispered word, a touch that speaks of something more than ownership. But you know such moments are fragile, easily shattered by the harsh realities of your existence. The weight of captivity presses heavier still as you witness the fates of those who came before you. Older slaves, broken and resigned, move like ghosts through the household. Their bodies bear the marks of a lifetime spent as property, scarred, bowed, and weary. You learn the cruelest truth. Few survive to reclaim freedom. Most are consumed by the system, their identities erased by years of servitude and abuse. Yet even in this darkness, you dare to hope. You dream of a day when chains will fall away, when your name will be more than a ledger entry, when your body and soul will be your own. Outside, Athens thrives, a city of art, philosophy, and democracy. Yet its greatness is built on the backs of those like you, whose suffering remains unseen and unheard. The contrast gnaws at you, the lofty ideals spoken in the agora, the brutal reality lived in shadowed rooms. You begin to understand that your struggle is not just for survival, but for recognition, an acknowledgement of your humanity in a world that denies it. The household is a crucible of power and pain, but none bear a heavier, more haunting weight than those chosen for a fate even darker, the breeders. In the shadows of this marble palace, young bodies are not only possessions but vessels, their very wombs turned into factories of servitude. Though your story is one of a boy, you witness the terrifying reality faced by female slaves, their bodies reduced to mere instruments of reproduction, forced into cycles of pregnancy and loss, without mercy or reprieve. Their children are torn from them, commodities born not of love but of calculation, destined to become property as well. The male concubine's torment is no less brutal. You learn the whispered truths of your brethren, boys selected for their beauty and youth, destined to satisfy the most intimate desires of the powerful, without choice or consent. Your body is a tool, a prize, an entertainment. The lines between servitude and violation blur into one endless, suffocating reality. Your own body becomes a battleground. Every touch, every command carries the weight of ownership and control. You are bathed and oiled, dressed in delicate tunics meant to entice, not protect. You are paraded before those who judge your worth, not for your spirit or mind, but for your ability to please. In the privacy of the master's chambers, the torment deepens. Hands that once fed you now seize you with cold entitlement. Resistance is met with fury. Submission is the only path to survival. The nights are endless stretches of violation, your cries swallowed by stone walls and wine-soaked laughter. Each morning you awaken broken but alive, your body aching, your soul bruised. Within these dark moments, you cling to memories of the village, the olive trees, the laughter of your family, the warm sun on your skin. They are your last fragile link to a life stolen. Yet the house's cruelty spares no quarter. Boys who once dreamed of freedom become shadows of themselves, their eyes hollow, their bodies marked by chains and scars. You witness the tragic cycle of those who came before you, some who tried to escape, only to be captured and broken anew, others who succumbed quietly to despair, their lives extinguished in silence. But survival demands adaptation. You learn to navigate the tangled web of power and favor, to play the game of obedience and charm. Small mercies, an extra piece of bread, a moment of kindness from a fellow slave become lifelines. You discover the rare moments when a guest's gaze lingers not in lust or ownership, but in fleeting admiration. These moments spark a painful hope, but you know they are illusions, fragile and fleeting as smoke. The symposiums continue, their nights a cruel theater where intellect masks depravity. Philosophers debate virtue as they violate your body, their words hollow echoes in a chamber of shadows. Your body is not your own. Your pain is ignored, your suffering invisible. You are a vessel, a plaything, a ghost haunting the marble halls of Athens. Yet beneath this cruelty, your spirit burns. You carry the unspoken truth of countless others, the strength to endure, the courage to resist, the hope that someday, somehow, freedom might be more than a dream. In the deepest corners of the house, where sunlight dares not venture, a different kind of torment unfolds, a battle not of bruised flesh, but of fractured spirit. Here, beneath the polished marble and painted frescoes, you face the silent war within. Each day, you mask the pain with practiced smiles, hiding the fractures beneath the surface. The laughter of the symposium is a cruel echo to the emptiness gnawing inside. The world outside, with its philosophers and poets, seems light years away from your prison of flesh and fear. Your mind drifts back to the village, to the simple pleasures of childhood, running through olive groves, the warmth of a mother's embrace, the stories told beneath starlit skies. Those memories are your refuge, fragile and precious. But they also sharpen the ache of loss. You grapple with the loneliness of captivity, the absence of family, the cruel theft of your youth. You question your worth, your identity, and the meaning of survival in a world that sees you as less than human. Yet even in the darkest hours, sparks of humanity flicker. Among the other slaves, you find fleeting moments of connection, shared glances, whispered conversations, the quiet comfort of presence. Marcus becomes a brother in chains, his steady gaze a beacon of understanding. Alexios, scarred yet unbroken, offers lessons in resilience. Philemon, young yet wise beyond his years, tells stories of hope, weaving dreams of escape and freedom. Together, you form a fragile web of solidarity, a reminder that even in chains, the human spirit can endure. Religion and philosophy, distant echoes in your life, sometimes offer solace. You hear whispered prayers and ancient hymns sung softly in the corridors, their melodies a balm to fractured souls. Some slaves cling to faith as a lifeline, a promise of justice beyond this mortal hell. But faith is a double-edged sword, both comfort and torment. It can inspire courage or deepen despair, depending on the fickle tides of fate. Outside, Athens continues its eternal dance of light and shadow. The city's streets bustle with merchants, orators, and citizens debating democracy's promises. But the slaves remain invisible, ghosts haunting the edges of freedom. You long for a glimpse of the sky beyond the city walls, for the taste of fresh air untainted by chains. You dream of a day when your name will not be a ledger entry but a story told in the light of freedom. But freedom is a distant dream. The house is a fortress of control, its walls built on fear and obedience. Every moment is a test of will, endurance, and the fragile hope that refuses to die. The days blur into years beneath the unyielding stone and iron of captivity. The flicker of hope dims with every passing season, yet it refuses to vanish completely, a stubborn flame amid the darkness. Some among you dream of escape, of breaking the chains and vanishing into the wild olive groves beyond Athens. The thought becomes an obsession, whispered in secret, plotted in shadows. But the price is steep. Failure means brutal punishment or death. Others seek a quieter end, a release from torment in the cold embrace of death. Some fall ill, broken by years of labor, violation, and despair. Their bodies wasted, their spirits faded, they slip silently away, leaving only the faintest trace behind. The house does not remember them. Their names vanish into the void, their stories lost beneath layers of stone and dust. They become ghosts haunting forgotten halls, shadows without faces. Yet in this oblivion lies a cruel paradox. In being forgotten by history, their suffering is erased, denied the dignity of remembrance. You wonder, then, what it means to truly survive. Is it the years lived in servitude, the endless endurance? Or is it the moments of resistance, of connection, of unbroken spirit? Escape is rare and perilous. Some boys seize fleeting chances, slipping through guarded gates under moonless skies, racing through the tangled streets, hearts pounding like thunder. Few succeed. Many are caught, return to chains more cruel than before. Yet the very act of defiance speaks to an unyielding will, a refusal to accept the cage as fate. You learn that freedom is not always physical. Sometimes it is a choice, a stubborn claim to humanity in a world that denies it. The city of Athens moves on, its citizens unaware of the lives sacrificed beneath their feet. Philosophers debate justice while slaves bear the cost. Democracy's promise glows bright, but its shadows swallow countless souls. In quiet moments, you imagine a future where the chains fall away, where your story is told, not as a footnote, but as a testament to endurance and resilience. You vow that your voice, though silenced now, will one day be heard. Your journey ends, not with fanfare, but in the silent dignity of survival. Broken in body, but unbowed in spirit, you carry within you the unspoken legacy of all who endured. You are more than property. You are a witness, a survivor, a story waiting to be told. In the heart of ancient Athens, where democracy's bright flame first flickered, countless voices remain unheard, whispers lost beneath marble columns and philosophical debates. The story of the male concubine is one of shadows and silence, a testament to a world that chose to forget the cost of its grandeur. You, the boy sold from a village, the captive polished for pleasure, the silent witness to cruelty, embody all those forgotten souls. Your pain, your endurance, your quiet rebellion against dehumanization. These are the truths that history must remember. Though your name may never be inscribed on stone or sung in halls of power, your legacy is woven into the fabric of humanity's struggle. The indomitable spirit refusing to be broken, the courage to survive in the darkest of times. Look around Athens today, at the ruins of temples and the echoes of voices long gone. Among the stones lie stories untold, lives uncounted, sacrifices invisible yet profound. Your story is a mirror held up to civilization, a reminder that beneath every great achievement lies the cost borne by those cast aside. To remember you is to reclaim our shared humanity, to acknowledge that freedom and justice mean nothing without compassion for the weakest among us. So, to those listening, carry this story forward. Let it be a light in the darkness, a call to honor all who suffer in silence, past and present. Because history is not only written by the victors, it is also held in the silent legacy of those who endured, and their voices once silenced deserve to be heard.